Alright, I am back, and you might be asking yourself what brings a man back after not making a video for so long, and you might have guessed it by now. It's Diablo 4. Now, Diablo 4 was a game that I was pretty excited about, despite, a lot of uncertainty. Diablo Immortal came out, and that was, a whole cash grab going on, so expectations were set pretty low for Diablo 4, but I guess I took a naive approach and was like, no, no, it'll be fine. They'll do great. They'll learn from their mistakes and they'll get it right this time. And might have been mistaken on that. I originally got into Diablo in 3 and I actually had a good time with it. I know it's probably not definitely not the best one. It's more in the sense of like how a Call of Duty player, if they get it on Vanguard's their first one, they're still gonna have a ton of fun even if it's not, a great game. So that's kind of where I was coming from. So it's like, even if they make it like just better than Diablo 3, like it can be a solid game. But I'm gonna be honest, in its current state, I don't think Diablo 4 is better than 3 right now. And I know it's like a crazy comment, and it's like not even something you can think is real. And I didn't even realize it myself until I saw a video comparing a Diablo 3 Nephilim Rift to a Nightmare Dungeon and just how much longer everything took, including the picking the sigil, teleporting to the outside, getting in, and then you're backtracking, looking for your first objective. And by the time you're done doing that, the Nephilim Rift's already done. And I know Diablo 3 is a game, it's been around for a while, there's a ton of power creep, and it's not something you really want Diablo 4 right away, but it still kind of showed just how many more steps there is in Diablo 4. One of my least favorite things is with the gold. In Diablo 4, I find myself needing to pick up everything on the ground because if I don't, I won't have enough money to enchant my weapon or re-roll an affix to get the stat that I want because it just scales up so quickly to like millions, like hundreds of millions. Well, you could roll on one piece of gear and lose 100 million gold like so fast. And I know in Diablo 3, gold became basically arbitrary, which is not something you want. But the issue I have is that there's not something cool to replace gold usage in 4. You are farming for gold to do the same thing you could do fairly easily in 3. Also, before I continue on my little mini rant, if you wouldn't mind liking, commenting, subscribing, that lets me know if you want to see more of this. If you want me to come on here and rant some more about Diablo 4, I can always do that, or other games. But yeah, let me know. Another issue I have with Diablo 4 is that it doesn't have all of the quality of life features that 3 had. And you'd think that'd be something they built in if people liked. Leaderboards aren't even in the game yet. We're already in Season 1. We went through Season 1 without any leaderboards, and I assume they won't be added until Season 2. There's also no class loadouts in the game. There's a place where you can change your cosmetics and set cosmetic loadouts, but you can't set build loadouts, which is wild. It's just, they really thought that you would be able to create one class and just use that one class. But you run into the issue all the time where, oh, I want to speed farm here. Oh, I want to fight Uber Lilith. Sometimes to fight Uber Lilith, you have to change around your entire build set to do single target damage, which just becomes a massive pain. So I don't know why that was something that was included in 3 that didn't make it over 4. And in their streams, they said that they have no timeline for when that's coming back. So who knows? It could be season 4 or 5 for something that should have been in right away. So it's another barrier of entry that makes the experience much less streamlined. And honestly, I think Diablo 4 only has a couple more seasons left to get it right. Because Season 1 is shaping up to be pretty disappointing, not as much content as we thought. And what makes it even worse is Diablo 3 comes out with a season that has its own seasonal theme, with the portals that you go in, you fight more monsters, more portals spawn, and it's almost as much content as the Malignant Hearts. I know Diablo 4 Season 1 has a little quest line to go with it, but other than that, there's not too much. And I think the seasons need to have a little bit more content to keep people around longer. Instead of making it harder to level up from 70 to 100, forcing you to play longer, and forcing it to take longer to complete the season is just not a fun time. And then you have all the ridiculous events that have happened since this game came out. From Blizzard coming out and telling us that we can't have more stash tabs because it loads all the other players' inventories when you enter a town, to them putting out job postings all of a sudden to get more seasonal designers. Now, one of the more recent events was when Blizzard had two employees go in front of the community and make a video of them playing through a dungeon. And, they weren't the best of the game, kind of spamming basic skills mostly and not utilizing most of their skills. And the community definitely didn't receive that well. It made Blizzard seem like they were out of touch with what was going on and what their fans wanted to see and what their fans were thinking. And I saw a good theory that I actually enjoyed from an Asmongold video, where it's like, this could be punishment. This could be Blizzard setting these two people be scapegoats. Or maybe they did something wrong and they just want to put them in front of the community and just direct all that anger towards them. And if you want to go even further down Blizzard conspiracy theories, sometimes it feels like some of these issues they create themselves so that they can fix it later down the line. And I almost feel like this is going to happen every season. There's going to be one thing. Right, next season they'll be like, oh, leaderboards are back, everybody come back. And then people will get mad and get sick of it. And then the next season they'll be like, loadouts, they're back. Or gem spaces, don't take up slots. And you'll get one thing, one quality of life change every season just to kind of bring you back. Now, that might not be the case. They might just truly be incompetent almost. And we can only hope that these new people they hire maybe make things better. They could possibly add more seasonal content, add some things that people want to do. I mean, I personally, I'm not a game designer. I don't pretend to be one. I have no clue what they should add. But I feel like I have some idea of what they shouldn't do. And that's add more things that take up your inventory slots. No one enjoys that. Or things that, you need to get a perfect roll on a gear. Oh, guess what? It has a brutal slot instead of a vicious. Oh, well, now I really needed that heart for my build. Now I can't use this ring because I can't re-roll it. I can't re-roll that spot. So, hopefully that'll be fixed. Hopefully we'll get better seasons, but who knows, honestly. The point of this video is just to express that Diablo 4 is not in a great place. I mean, Immortal's here, Diablo 4's here, and I think it's still below Diablo 3. I know it's a crazy take, but I think that's where it is at its current spot. But I think it will get better. I think by season 5 or 6, it could be really good. Now, a lot of people won't wait that long, and that's perfectly acceptable. I would understand if people totally wrote the game off by then, because that's a long time to get a game right that you had so much time to develop, and that you had already developed a lot of things that worked well in 3. And all you had to do is tweak it, change the art style a little bit, make it a little bit more complicated and less basic, and you had an amazing game. And they did some of those things, but they left out the good parts that were in 3. So it really is in a weird place, but I think the foundation's good. The shared world is really cool. I think the world bosses are cool, and I'd like to see them add on that shared world experience and use the world more. I mean, I log on sometimes and I don't even use my horse. I'll play for like 3 hours. I'll be like, I haven't even called my mount. And I know they are trying with these developer updates, but they still seem out of touch. I mean, I watched one a few weeks ago after that massive patch came out with all the nerfs, and they did a Q&A section, and someone asked, why would you make teleporting take longer? what does that do besides slow down the experience? And they couldn't answer. They just had no answer. So even though they're doing these update streams, it still feels disconnected. They're still doing things that the community just doesn't want. And it's they're listening sometimes, but they're listening after they do something crazy that ruins the fun. But honestly, if you're playing this game and you want to like it, I think it'll get there eventually. Just hang in there. I'm not ready to believe that I lost $70 just yet. But it might be the case, but I'm gonna stay positive here. Maybe Diablo 4 will listen, the devs will listen. And like I said, there are things I like. I also enjoy that they keep the shop kind of separate. I never have to interact with the shop screen. I kind of think that'll change one day. Maybe a little bit down the line, they'll ease it over into more into your face a little bit. But right now, I assume they're probably scared because of all the Diablo Immortal controversy that happened. So they might be just playing it safe. But I think they do have a good foundation. I'd like to see what they do with it. It's all up to these next couple seasons. And if they butcher it, the game's just gonna die, and PoE 2 is just gonna take over. And I never played PoE 1 because it was kind of late. The game is super complex, but I mean, this will be the time to do it. So I give them a few more seasons, and we'll see what happens.